While the healthcare industry averages an 11.8% denial rate, wound care claims face a 35% rejection rate. For a standard center performing 20 weekly applications, this traps up to $593,000 annually, cycling through appeals instead of your bank. These rejections are rarely driven by clinical errors. Data shows 40% of advanced wound treatment claims are denied strictly due to administrative documentation failures. Missing wound measurements, omitted medical necessity language, or missing time-stamped photos mean the right treatment was delivered, but the claim simply couldn't prove it. The clinical side of the practice is functioning perfectly, but the administrative backend is leaking margins directly into the ether. The root cause usually comes down to staffing. Wound care billing requires knowing the clinical difference between specific CPT codes, understanding modifier rules, and navigating complex payer workflows. Generalist billing staff are simply overloaded by the technical precision this specialty demands. Look at a typical 40-hour administrative workweek. Over a quarter of that time, between 11 and 13 hours every single week, is stripped away from your staff just fighting prior authorizations. That workload drives severe burnout. Clinical and business support staff currently experience a 33% turnover rate. When a trained medical biller leaves, their highly specific knowledge walks out the door with them. Hiring a dedicated specialist to replace them carries a loaded cost of $55,000 to $75,000 a year. On top of that, the practice absorbs the recruiting expenses, the onboarding time, and the inevitable spike in denials while the new hire learns the ropes. Relying on rotating generalist staff or traditional in-house hiring is mathematically and operationally outmatched by the labor-intensive reality of modern wound care billing. That friction compounded following the 2026 CMS regulatory shifts. These new frameworks turned a difficult billing environment into a highly volatile and heavily scrutinized landscape. The most disruptive change involves skin substitutes. CMS reclassified non-biological variants as Incident 2 supplies with a strict flat payment rate of $127.14 per square centimeter. That specific pricing model triggered aggressive CMS enforcement and a wave of stringent new documentation requirements. Concurrently, CMS withdrew finalized national coverage policies for these substitutes. The practical result is extreme geographic variability. The exact same clinical scenario that gets approved in one state will now face strict denial criteria in another, depending entirely on local MAC jurisdiction rules. Navigating this requires absolute specialty-specific expertise. Surviving the 2026 landscape demands a level of focus that most practices cannot build internally. To solve for this complexity cliff, an increasing number of practices are moving their operations to a dedicated outsourced model, specifically utilizing providers like Staffingly. Staffingly deploys AAPC and AHIMA-credentialed specialists who work exclusively within the practice's existing EMR system from day one. It is the same person executing the same workflow with absolute accountability. This diagram visualizes the immediate economic flip. Instead of bearing the $75,000 loaded cost of an in-house full-time employee, the practice secures dedicated billing capacity for $399 a week, roughly $20,800 a year. That cuts administrative staffing costs by up to 70%. The deployment is highly structured. In exactly 14 days, the team connects to your specific EMR, whether that is Epic, Athena, or eClinicalWorks, learns your exact payer mix, and goes live without disrupting your active patient workflows. This is a direct integration. You are seamlessly grafting enterprise-grade financial infrastructure into your existing operations. Once that specialized focus is applied, the operational metrics shift rapidly. High-performing wound care billing services consistently drop denial rates from the 35% industry average down to under 5%. As files flow through the system, Staffingly utilizes an AI-augmented workflow to maintain that accuracy. Smart routing directs claims to the appropriate specialist, while automated audits flag missing documentation and catch errors long before a claim is submitted to a payer. All of this operates inside a strictly compliant architecture. The entire system is built on SOC 2 Type 2, HIPAA, and HITRS standards, ensuring patient data remains completely secure. By solving the core bottleneck, the practice plugs the revenue leak, completely bypasses the friction of administrative turnover, and secures a reliable financial foundation for the future. To reclaim the margins trapped in your billing cycle, initiate a pilot program today. Visit staffingly.com/demo or call the number on your screen to connect your EMR. You already did the hard work of delivering the care. It is time to capture the revenue you actually earned.